Hi guys! Do you have a ton of these? Like a ton of old big rock shirts or just other t-shirts that you don't really use anymore? Do you want to know how to turn them into one of these? Nice looking tank top and open back Kat Von D style. Well, this is really super easy. The only thing you need is a pair of scissors. So the first thing we need to do is cut off all the hemmed edges. So the bottom edge needs to go, the neckline needs to go, and as I'm making this a tank top instead of a t-shirt, I'm cutting the entire sleeve off on the inside of the inner seam right here. If you want, you can, I know Kat Von D usually does this to her t-shirts. She keeps the sleeve but she cuts it up to get these like fringes or whatever you call them. I'm not a big fan of that look, I just like the tank top, so yeah. So I'm going to start by cutting all of that off. Okay, so if you've cut all of that off, you should be left with this. The next step is to open up the back. Just lay your t-shirt down, back facing up, and locate the middle. You can be really thorough and measure if you like, but if you know me, that's not what I'm going to do. Okay, so make sure you're not double cutting it because we're leaving the front. So cut all the way to the top. Okay, next part, we're going to start cutting strips. Now, you can make the strips as thick or as thin as you like. I'd rather make them too thick than too thin because t-shirt fabric is pretty easy to rip. And if you're going to make your tank top tight, I want mine to be tight like this one is. It's pretty easy to sort of rip it when you take it off or anything like that. So don't make the strips too thin. I'm going to make them like maybe 5 or 6 centimeters, something like that. So start cutting across and don't cut all the way to the side edge. Maybe leave 5 centimeters on both sides. And yeah, I'll show you what to do when we get to the top. So just start by doing that. I'm doing one side at a time here. Once you get closer to where the sleeve used to be, make the strips go even closer to the middle, so don't cut as far out because we're going to reshape this side here. As you can see, this goes pretty far down and it's really thin, so we don't want to have to, like here I had to tie a double knot on this one because I cut it too thin and it broke off. So keep closer to the middle. You can always cut more if you need, but you can't take back what you've already cut, obviously. Okay, so flap your stripes back the way they were, or if you left them like that, just keep them that way. Because now we're going to do the other side, and we need to make sure that we cut the same amount of strips on the other side. So just just flip it over and do the same thing to the other side. See, as I cut them, I pull one from the other side off, just so I know I have the right amount. So the first thing I'm going to do now is shape the sides right here. And this shoulder piece is going to be cut open, but I'm going to leave that until I shape it the way I like it. So a good idea is to try it on as well, but since we haven't done the knots yet, it might be hard. But if you have a t-shirt that's really big, like this one is for me, what you need to do is take in a bit of the sleeve here, because you're going to have loose fabric like this. So this one is made to fit like properly and tight, sort of up in my armpit. You don't want this to be all loose, it's not going to look nice. So I'm going to make this a bit bigger, both in the back and in the front. And this is going to be thin, so I need to open up for some cleavage too. So just cut that a bit deeper and cut into this and into this. Keep the track of the back as you do this, because this is where we have the strips and we don't want to accidentally cut through one of those. Cut these as thin or thick as you like them, but I like them really thin. So this is way too much fabric for me. And also I like my tank tops to not go very high up in my neck. So what I'm gonna do is cut off the top strips that we've cut back here. Let me show you like this. So I'm gonna cut off all the strips that have white on them. Just cut those off and make this a neater, thinner band. Also, you can cut the shoulder piece completely off now. And just cut away the seam, like that little piece. We're going to tie those two ends together at the top, like here. So same thing on the other side. Good idea to have someone help you, because what we're going to do now is tie the entire back and the top pieces together, and it's kind of hard to do that by yourself. Obviously you can, but it's easy to get it crooked, and yeah, you get kind of a cramp from standing around like this. So put the fabric where it's going to go. Top, which is the shoulder piece. Whoops. around like so. And you tie these ends together. You do that without having the thing on, obviously, but if you have someone to help you, then you know how much you want it to fit, how you want it to fit. So I'm tying double knots. Not too harsh at first, because we need to try this on before we decide where we want it. Okay, so tuppies. Simple, just double knots. And then you can stick your arms in there and start tying the back. Now, as I said, I like mine to be pretty tight, so I'm gonna tie double knots all the way down, like this. And then when I have a shape I like, I probably need to make this a little bit steeper because it's up here right now. Just correct it any way you need to. Maybe need to cut some more here or whatever you need for the look you want. And just have someone help you tie the knots in the back and do the thing. So what I need to do now is make everything tighter and then cut the little ends off of all the knots. And then we're done.